How many years have you made a rushed list of resolutions the final few days of December only for you to abandon said list come February of the new year? Probably a handful of times. I know that I certainly have done this majority of my life where I write down a list of things, a list of goals that I want to achieve in 365 days. And typically, this rushed list of resolutions is fueled by comparison of where other people are at in their lives and what I want for myself in comparison to others. Just sheer sort of panic at the thought that I'm entering another year, as well as just kind of setting unrealistic expectations upon myself and expecting me to figure it out when I, quote, cross that bridge into the new year. Let me be clear here before we get any further into this episode. Your resolutions do not fail because you're not disciplined enough. They fail because the entire concept of a New Year's resolution is broken. And we are going to be getting into a new concept that you can use in your life that actually resonates with you and your life. I spent the first 23 years of my life doing the exact same thing and feeling like a failure every single December when I would go back to my list of resolutions and realize that I only accomplished 2 or 3 out of 10. If that. But I have figured out what actually works for me in my own life. Instead of basing, my year or my resolutions on goals that I want to achieve, I have created a theme or two to basically base my entire year around. These themes are just what I want to have more of in my life, whether it be more self-confidence, more creativity, or more connection with others. Choosing a theme to base your next year on is a much more sustainable and grounded approach to changing your life in 2026. So, with that being said, I am going to be walking you through why New Year's resolutions don't necessarily work and how you can integrate this new theme idea into your life for genuine growth and change and development as a human being in 2026. Hello and welcome back to another episode of To Be Known. If you're new here, my name is Makayla Morman and I am your go-to girl when it comes to anything personal development related in your 20s. I am quite literally obsessed with this stuff. I talk about it every single week, and if you don't know me, well, you should know that I work full-time. I'm a master's student. I'm the host of this podcast. I have a million other creative projects going on. I love this concept of growing and changing as a human being. And I want the same thing for you too, because I've seen what has happened when I shift my life to live based off of my values. It allows me to genuinely know who I am so I could then go out into the world and invite others to do the same and to know me as well, because that's what I feel like we all really want as humans at the end of the day, is to feel connected to ourselves and our lives and to allow other people in as well. And so today we are going to be talking about this concept of shifting from resolutions to just a theme for your year to align your actions on. This simple reframing of resolutions has really changed the game for me. I'm going to tell you, I still have a list of goals that I write out for myself with every single year, but I make sure that they are all based around this theme or two that I do have for myself. And I see more success with this way of reframing resolutions because it genuinely aligns with me. And I am able to go back and think about, oh, my theme for the year is more self-confidence. My theme for the year is more creation. Resolutions don't work because they are based on pressure and not self-awareness. Typically, your list of resolutions are filled with a bunch of I shoulds. I should budget better. I should go to the gym X amount of times a week. I should lose weight. I should save more money. I should get a promotion this year. I should, start dating again. I should. You get the point. These shoulds that we see in our resolutions are typically coming from social comparison of where everyone else is at our age, or just genuine pressure of where we feel like we should be in comparison to where we are actually at now. Maybe you have shame about who you have been, and now you're putting all of this pressure onto yourself with a sense of urgency on how much you have to change in a 12-month period of time without actually thinking about who you are and what you value and who you actually want to be. These identity overhauls often mean that we are trying to change who we are without actually thinking about how it might make us feel. As I said, your brain cannot compute so many changes, even if it is just written out on a sheet of paper. It feels the pressure without actually having any real emotional resonance with it. It's just things that you feel like you have to do, and it makes your brain go haywire and makes you feel like you can't get anything done. Your mind does not know how to instantaneously figure out how to achieve 5 or more I should be this ways. So what happens? You write the list. You try to do it for the first month of January, only to put it away come February and live the rest of your year until you go back to your resolutions in December and panic and do it all over again. This type of resolution making is just misaligned with how our brains actually work at the end of the day. These should statements are like a false North Star where we feel like we're going in one direction, trying to figure out how we can be this better version of ourselves, when in actuality, you don't need to have a new personality on January 1st. You just need to have a deeper understanding of the one that you already have. And by basing your next year on these themes and figuring out what actions you can do to align yourself with these themes, to figure out what your values are and who you actually want to be in a way that genuinely works for you, that is how real change occurs. And it doesn't happen overnight. It happens over the course of 365 days. If you are feeling the pressure to take pen to paper and to figure out what the heck is going on in your life and where you want to move forward, I invite you to do a self-reflection instead of writing out a list of resolutions for yourself. Reflection grounds you in reality instead of living in fantasy land. You cannot know where you want to go and what you want to change until you actually have an understanding of where you are at right now. If you haven't watched my SWOT life analysis episode, this honestly would be a great moment for you to pause, go to that episode, listen through and figure out your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats to have a really deep understanding of where you are at right now so that you know how to go forward. However, if you don't have the time for that and you just want to listen to this episode, I'm just going to have you answer these couple of questions. Take pen to paper for this, or just open up the notes app on your phone, but I want you to be very brutally honest with yourself here. What drained you this year? What supported you this year? What patterns are you tired of repeating? What parts of yourself are you proud of? Remember, reflection gives you direction, whereas resolutions give you a false sense of both. When we have genuine awareness of where we are at in our lives and what we want next, that creates momentum. On the other hand, this pressure that we feel from resolutions kills that feeling within us. Now we've gotten to the part of the episode where I get to talk about my favorite thing that I've ever done for myself, and that is choosing a theme to base my year on instead of making a random list of resolutions. Basing your year on a theme creates sustainable change because it helps you shape how you identify yourself rather than trying to figure out what behaviors you should have. That theme is going to be what all of the tangible items you want to achieve that year are going to be centered around. So yes, you could still write out your tangible list of just goals or milestones that you want to have for yourself in the year that resonate with that theme. Maybe some milestones that you want to achieve in your life are getting a new job, moving to a new city, getting a promotion. Maybe it's becoming more fit. Maybe it is having a deeper sense of your personal style, or getting into a new relationship, or going to the next level in your current relationship. Whatever it is, make sure that those items on your checklist all center back to your theme of the year. with that being said, let me share with you my personal experience with choosing themes for the year and why I think it works so well, because I have changed so much as a person the past 2 years because of this concept. Let me take you back to 2024 when I decided to base my year off of a theme rather than making a tangible list of resolutions for myself that year. My theme of the year was opportunity. And let me tell you, opportunity most certainly happened. I have never had so many doors open and close, showing me the right path for me ever in my entire life. And it is all because I based my year off of this concept of opportunity. I started off the year basically thinking that I was going to be a teacher. I was studying and I had just received my CSET, which when you're in the state of California basically just means you could be a substitute teacher. Thought I wanted to go down the route of becoming a teacher. And I just felt really unsure about where I was at in life and what I wanted to do next. And so I still stepped into 2024 with this idea of opportunity and just having this genuine trust within myself and within life that opportunity will come to me as long as I believe it would. And let me tell you, it most certainly did. I changed my job, I think 3 or 4 times that year. I also had side gigs going on as well, just to try and figure out what I wanted for myself. And I started this podcast to be known in 2024. I let that be something that I created for myself. And let me tell you, by starting this podcast, my life has done a complete 180 from thinking that I wanted to be a teacher to now being interested in obviously content creation by doing this podcast. And now I'm in a completely different sphere of the workplace. I am now into marketing and branding when that wasn't even on my radar at the start of 2024. And that is what this podcast has brought me by letting myself have this opportunity of just starting and just trying and seeing where it took me. I was just trying to figure it out all while I was doing to be known. And I figured out that I wanted to further my education. I always knew that I wanted to. And I found the program that just felt gutturally right to me. I can't explain it, but when I was online looking at programs, I came across USC's Masters of Communications with a focus in marketing. And something just told me, apply and see, because who knows, you might get it. And I got in. And that was like a huge door that opened for me that then led me to make such a huge pivot in my life and know that I trusted in myself that this was going to be the best thing for me, because if my gut told me to apply to that program and to make the change and I got in, then something else big is going to happen as well. And so I was applying to a million jobs because we know how the workforce is right now. I am so lucky that I have such an amazing job, but trying to find a job is horrible. And I remember applying to a million jobs, and I came across a job that genuinely, when I saw it, I had that same feeling in my gut. I applied. It took a month for me to hear back about an interview, and I lost all hope in it. I was like, okay, well, I guess it just wasn't for me. Like, that's fine. Like, maybe my intuition was wrong. And I got an interview, and I went through the interview process, and I ended up getting the job. And that is what that year of opportunity gave me. It allowed me to pivot and change my life so many times and to genuinely just have this like deep trust and understanding of opportunity will come to me when I decide to go out and try and find it. And it did. And it happened. And I feel so much more aligned in my life right now. I don't know. It like makes me like so happy like when I talk about it, because I'm like, wow, I really did that. But when I based my year on this theme of opportunity, that is what happened for me. And so now with 2025, doing a little bit of reflection here, I went into 2025 and I was like, I'm going to up the ante a little bit. I'm going to do 2 themes for this year because I got a busy year. I got a new job and I got a master's program. I got the podcast. Life is going to fly by and I want to make sure that I'm still doing this thing. So I chose 2 themes for myself. The first being fearless creation, because I just wanted to create fearlessly, honestly, because I'm such a perfectionist and I wanted to let go of that this year. And I really feel like I have genuinely. And also this concept of aligned ambition. I really wanted to align myself with my ambitious goals in my life when it does come to my career and master's program and podcast and whatever. And I feel like I really have centered my life and what I do on the day to day upon those two things. And I'm walking away from 2025 and stepping into 2026 knowing that what I did this year by balancing my master's, my full-time job, the podcast, my life, and everything that is on my plate, I'm doing a freaking good job at it. And I'm going to give myself credit where credit is due. And it's because of this theme that I go back to. Whenever I have days where I don't feel motivated, where I feel like I'm so close to just giving up and having burnout because life is overwhelming right now, I just go back into my mind and I go, no, you got this. Fearless creation, aligned ambition, let's go. Let's figure out what you can do today and tomorrow that are just little minor things that reconnect you with that bigger vision for your life. But I'm still stepping away from the year feeling successful because I've based my life on those two grounding themes for myself. And so stepping into 2026 and looking forward and looking ahead, I really want to continue this theme of creation because I'm really trying to create my own consciousness. I'm trying to create my life. I'm trying to create podcasts and these other creative projects that I'm working on, creating at work, creating in my program. That is where I'm at with my life, of this idea of creation over consumption. Another theme that I have for 2026 is wanting to have more of a sense of adventure. My life has been pretty mundane this year, and it's because I have been so ambitious and I've had so much on my plate. However, I want to have more of a sense of adventure and really challenge myself to try new things, to do new things, no matter how big or small. I want to make sure that I'm doing something that feels adventurous and new to me at least every single week. I want to make sure that I'm trying something new, whether it is a new book, a new recipe, a new hobby, going out to a new place in the world, like a city or a new restaurant. I just want to have a little bit of a sense of adventure in 2026. And so now that I've shared with you the themes that I have had in my life and how they've really applied to my life and what I've seen happen within myself, I'm sharing this with you because themes are flexible. They're much more flexible than having resolutions, because when you feel like you could walk away from the year with that feeling that you stepped into the year wanting to have so badly, and you see that your little steps and the things that you do every single day get you closer and closer and align you so much more with that theme in your life, you will feel successful. These themes work because they are identity based. When you take the time to pause, reflect, sit, and really see where you are at and where you want to be and create an idea for yourself, a visualization, a feeling that you want to have, it is so much easier for you to achieve because you have this emotional resonance to it. It is tied to your identity now because it is a part of you and who you want to be. Themes work so well because they are progress oriented rather than perfection oriented. Just because you have a check mark on the box next to your resolution does not mean that you feel successful from it. However, when you have the sense of progression and growth and like you are genuinely changing day in and day out and aligning yourself to the higher version of yourself, that's where success comes from. And that's what these themes allow you to have. Remember, themes are the opposite of rigid goals. It's a direction. When it comes to the idea of shifting from having a list of resolutions to basing our year on a theme, it might not feel like it is enough. And that is where the concept of creating a system really comes into play. Setting systems to support how you can gain these feelings from your year's theme is how you can actually achieve them. Not big goals, not a bullet point list of resolutions. And if you are a consistent listener of the podcast, you know that I love to set up a system in my life, whether it is from habit stacking to maybe it is a weekly or monthly reflection that you have in your life. Setting up a system is always going to be greater than a resolution. It just always is. Goals rely on motivation, whereas systems rely on structure. And what we need to have in our lives is a sense of structure, because let me be real with you, you might not want to hear it, but motivation is fleeting. It is just a feeling. Sometimes we don't feel motivated to get up in the morning. Sometimes we don't feel motivated to go put the dishes away. So how can you expect yourself to be motivated to do your goals every single day? What we need in our lives is structure, and creating a system for your life and how you are going to achieve your goals day in, day out, on the weekly, on the monthly, however much consistency you want to have, you need to have a system in place to actually achieve it. Let me run you through a couple of examples to show you what I mean here by setting up a system rather than just relying on motivation. Let's say you have a resolution of journaling daily. Okay, well, when are you going to journal? Is it going to be first thing in the morning? Is it going to be last thing at night? How many pages are you going to do? Are you going to force yourself to adhere to a certain structure, or are you just going to let it free flow out of you? You have to think about these things. Maybe journaling for you looks like 1 page in the morning and 1 page at night. Maybe the first page that you write first thing in the morning is about what you want to achieve that day, and that page that you write at night is a reflection of what happened that day. Simple as that. Maybe your resolution is be healthier. Instead of this obscure resolution of be healthier, you need to create a system for what being healthier actually means for you. Maybe it's that you want to go on a walk once a day. Well, again, when are you going to go on that walk? Maybe you habit stack it with after breakfast, after lunch, after dinner. When are you going to go on a walk? How long are you going to go on a walk for? Maybe you allow yourself 10-minute walks 3 times a day to equal up to 30 minutes. You have to figure out what works for you in your life. Maybe instead of going on a walk, maybe it's just making sure that you drink 100 ounces of water a day. Maybe it's that you want to meal prep every single lunch for yourself for the week to make sure that A, you're saving money, but you're also being healthier. Okay, go to the grocery store on Sunday, meal prep so that you have a healthier lunch all throughout the week. Those are ways that you could tangibly be healthier throughout your life instead of just creating this obscure concept of, oh, I want to be healthier. Okay, well, how are you going to do it? And the last example that I'm going to give you is the most general and popular of them all. It's the concept of work on myself this year. How many times have you written that down in your resolutions? I know that I have, and walked away from the year being like, did I really work on myself this year? Well, guess what? You got to create a self-awareness system in your life, whether it looks like weekly check-ins or meditating with yourself for 5 minutes every morning. Maybe it's going to yoga. Maybe it's making sure that you are actually getting yourself into therapy if that's something that you want to explore. What are you tangibly doing? What systems are you creating? What media are you consuming? Are you reading books about self-help? Are you listening to podcasts like mine about self-help? What are you doing to genuinely work on yourself? When it comes to setting up these systems, it is all about small, predictable actions that you can make every single day or week or month. It is not about these explosions of energy to do the absolute most. That's not sustainable. You got to focus on what is repeatable rather than aesthetic. When it comes to changing your life in 2026, you cannot make a step-by-step plan, day by day, week by week, month by month. It's just not going to work because guess what? Life is unpredictable. What you need to do is create micro commitments for January. That's it. That's as far as you're going to focus. I want you to think of 2 to 3 things that you could commit yourself to changing in your daily or your weekly for the month of January that align with your themes that you created for this year. Micro commitments. You might be sitting there being like, okay, what's a micro commitment? I have no idea what that means. And let me tell you, it's simple, it's easy. It's something that you can do in less than 30 minutes out of your day that can genuinely change your life over time. If you want to be healthier, walk for 30 minutes every day. If you want to be a more conscious person, don't be on your phone until 9 o'clock in the morning. If you want to budget your money better, go to the grocery store on Sunday and meal prep. What is it that you can do to commit yourself to a better life that doesn't have this high effort, high stake feeling around it? That is what a micro commitment is. What we are trying to shift here when it does come to changing our concept of resolutions to this idea of basing our year on a theme is avoiding the idea of overwhelming year-long goals, because that is what triggers avoidance. Think about how many times that you have just written down your list and then put it away and moved on, only to go back at the end of the year and have a complete freak out panic about how you did not do what you thought you would. A lot of times. When we shift to having these monthly micro commitments that align with our themes of the year, we are avoiding those shame spirals that might happen if we were just trying to achieve super big goals for ourselves month in and month out. Instead, what you are doing are setting the pace for yourself and for the year and creating that momentum and confidence within your life. When you approach the end of the month in January, reevaluate the micro commitments that you made for yourself for the month and see what you want to do next when it does come to February. Your growth should evolve with you and not stay stagnant, because that's just how life is. You gotta ebb and flow with what actually feels right for you and your goals. You don't need a 12-month plan. You just need a 30-day direction. With all that being said, I hope that you enjoyed today's episode and that you feel invigorated and inspired and like you already have your theme for 2026 at the top of your mind. That's really what I'm hoping you have walking away from today's episode. It was such a pleasure just sharing with you what has genuinely worked so well for me in my own life, because I just want to give you the tools and the tips and how you can change your life, because I've had so much growth over the past 2 years, and it's because of this difference that I've made and just more intentional living by shifting from resolutions to having a theme that I go back to every single month. It's just helped me develop so much as a human, and I want the same for you. If you really enjoyed today's episode, I would love if you could give this a thumbs up. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. If you are listening on Spotify, please give this podcast a 5-star review and drop a comment on what your theme of 2026 is going to be. I really, really do love hearing from you guys. And if you want to follow along the To Be Known journey, the links to socials will always be down below. You could follow on Instagram and TikTok at To Be Known Pod on both of those. And with all that being said, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Stay true to you. Bye.